Socrates is one of the most famous thinkers in human history. People call him the father of philosophy. He is remembered as the man who asked uncomfortable questions and forced everyone around him to think deeper. But here is the shocking part. Socrates hated democracy. He thought democracy was actually one of the fastest ways a society can destroy itself. So why did Socrates hate democracy, especially when Athens was the birthplace of democracy? To understand this, you have to go back to ancient Athens. Athens was the birthplace of democracy. Citizens voted directly. Large crowds gathered and made major decisions about war, laws, and leadership. On paper, it looked like freedom. It looked like the most fair system possible. But Socrates looked at it and saw a fatal weakness. He believed that democracy gives equal power to people who are informed and also to people who are completely clueless. He believed that a society cannot survive if decisions are made by people who do not understand what they are deciding. Socrates explained this with a simple example. If you were sick, would you vote for your doctor? Would you ask the crowd to choose who performs your surgery? Of course not. You would choose the most skilled doctor you could find because you know your life depends on expertise. So Socrates asked a terrifying question. If we trust experts for medicine, why do we not trust experts for politics? Why do we let a crowd choose who runs the entire country, even if most of them don't understand anything about economics, war, laws, or leadership? To Socrates, this wasn't wisdom, this was gambling. He believed democracy turns leadership into a popularity contest. The person who wins is not always the smartest, not always the most qualified, but the one who can entertain people, the one who can manipulate emotions, the one who can tell the crowd what they want to hear. So Socrates basically believed that democracy rewards the best salesman, not the best leader. He also believed democracy has another weakness. He believed democracy naturally creates division and chaos. Different groups demand different things. People fight over power. Society becomes noisy and unstable. Over time, citizens become exhausted from constant conflict. And when people become exhausted, they stop wanting freedom. They start wanting stability. They start wanting someone to take control and fix everything. This is where Socrates believed democracy ends. He believed democracy often leads to tyranny. He believed that when a society becomes chaotic, a strong man eventually rises. That strong man promises order. He promises safety. He promises to punish enemies. He promises to make the country great again. And slowly, the same people who once celebrated democracy start supporting dictatorship. Socrates did not say this as a theory. He watched it happening in his own lifetime. And the most tragic part is that Socrates himself became a victim of democracy. He was put on trial by a jury of ordinary citizens. They were not philosophers. They were not trained judges. They were not experts. They were simply a crowd. And that crowd voted to execute him. So in the end, democracy proved Socrates' point in the most brutal way possible. Socrates did not hate freedom. He hated the idea that truth can be decided by majority vote. He believed that leadership is not something you choose like a singer in a talent show. He believed that if a society gives power to ignorance, ignorance will eventually destroy that society.